J.D. Vance was at Turning Point's USA PAC Political Action Committee forum the other day talking about what Trump and his policies would be for 2025. He was also speaking to Charlie Kirk, who's a conservative nut job in his own right. So Charlie Kirk had an audience member or somebody, give a question, and the question was, what are we going to do about childcare? J.D. Vance has talked for a long time about what we need to do when it comes to childcare.
Daycare is very expensive.
Yep.
We pay $725 a month for it, and that's the lowest we've found in this area. What can we do about lowering the cost of daycare? Hayden, obviously a working family, and it's very hard for working families to get by. How will we lower the cost of daycare?
It's such an important question, Charlie. And I think one of the things that we can do is make it easier for family models to choose, or for families to choose whatever model they want, right? So one of the ways that you might be able to relieve a little bit of pressure on people who are paying so much for daycare is make it so that maybe like grandma or grandpa wants to help out a little bit more. Or maybe there's an aunt or uncle that wants to help out a little bit more. If that happens, you relieve some of the pressure on all the resources that we're spending in daycare.
Really? That's your fucking answer? Let grandma do it? Are you fucking serious? The number one problem that people have with Republicans and Democrats and every other political party is the fact that they're saying, hey, look at what we're doing for the country, and nobody is really trying to figure out how to fix your pockets. And I understand. It can be very difficult for a president who sits at the top of the federal government to say, this is what I can do for you individually. It's very difficult to do. And the presidents that can do it become the great ones. But your answer, of all the answers that you could have ever given, was to say, don't worry, you can work. Let grandma, granddad, cousin, uncle, and niece babysit your children while you go to work. That lets us know that you're detached from what real Americans go through. Because even grandmas, granddads, uncles, aunts, and nieces and nephews are going to work as well. Nobody has the expendable income to stay their ass at home and babysit grandchildren and nieces and nephews while somebody else goes to work. We don't have the time, the money, or the resources because some apartments want 3 times the fucking income just to qualify for the damn apartment. And then after a year, they jack the fucking price up. And the grandparents and granduncles and aunts can't do it because they living on Social Security and whatever disability that they have, and that's still not a livable wage, so they can't sit at home. They still have to work. But wait a minute, you can't work too many hours because if you're getting Social Security, you can only work so many, or they're going to take it from you. So they don't have time to sit at home.
Now, you talk about just daycare. Let's say you don't have somebody who can provide that extra set of hands. What we've got to do is actually empower people to get trained in the skills that they need for the 21st century. We've got a lot of people who love kids, who would love to take care of kids, but they can't, either because they don't have access to the education that they need, or maybe more importantly, because the state government says you're not allowed to take care of children unless you have some ridiculous certification that has nothing to do with taking care of kids. So empower people to get the skills they need. Don't force every early child care specialist to go and get a 6-year college degree where they've got a whole lot of debt and Americans are much poorer because they're paying out the wazoo for daycare. Empower working families, empower people who want to do these things for a living.
Then you got I'm not going to cuss this time. You got the nerve to say, let's just get some any old Joe who love being around kids with no certifications, and they haven't been certified in CPR, and they haven't been certified in the 4 life-saving steps. Stop the bleeding, start the breathing, protect the wound, treat for shock. Hoorah, Marine Corps Boot Camp. And for you as a political party to be so for states' rights, you gonna say throw out states' requirements for people who gotta protect our nation's future, which is our children. Again, this shows how far detached you are from reality. And you got the nerve to want to be vice president, which is one piece of chicken and one clogged artery away, according to Donald Trump's diet, from the presidency. So you can tell us to let grandma and them watch the kids and you go without an education and go watch children. Make it make sense. What do you think?